This is Fred Barstein with TPSU and 401k TV, and we just completed a TPSU program with our newly minted adjunct lecturer, Kathleen Kelly. Kathleen is one of the leading DC consultants, recognized by Barron's, Pensions and Investments, Plan Advisor, NAPA, and really is the founding partner and managing partner of Compass Financial, based here in North Carolina, but has plans all over the country. Welcome, Kathleen.
Thank you. Thank you.
If we ask you a few questions.
Certainly.
So in your lecture today on campus, you talked about the 10 things that plan sponsors, fiduciary things that they don't do right and probably do wrong. And we don't have time for 10, so give us the top 3.
So I'll do the consolidated version.
Right, since we only let you do 7 anyway.
That's right. So the first was really around foundational governance, having good fiduciary governance processes in place. The basic blocking and tackling, ensuring that the committee had actually been appropriately delegated authority, making sure that there is a plan charter, bylaws, fiduciary acknowledgement letters by committee, understanding that new committee members need to have training around the basics of understanding their fiduciary responsibilities, having ongoing training, and really just ensuring that the structure starts off correctly from the beginning. And it's not uncommon for us when we are hired to see that a plan sponsor is unable to put their hands on board resolutions that perhaps appointed the committee, or that the fact that there is a committee charter, maybe at some point there was, but who knows. Where is it? So having just good, solid fiduciary structure in place, that also lends itself to doing things like maintaining committee minutes, so that decisions can be documented, not only for purposes of identifying the rationale behind decisions that the committee made in the process, but also it's so helpful when there's turnover with the committee and new people come on and they want to understand how the committee has made decisions in the past. So that was really the first one. One
of the things, I'm not sure we're going to get to 3. One of the things that you talked about, which I've always confused, is the difference between settler and administrative functions and how the DOL is focused on that.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. It's not one that gets a lot of press, but it's starting to get more press because the DOL is more interested in the topic, which is around settler versus fiduciary activities, and whether or not the committee has been charged with having the authority to just make fiduciary decisions, so things like selecting and monitoring plan investments and carrying out the duties of the plan, versus are they wearing the hat of the business and making business-related decisions around plan amendments, plan design, where there oftentimes is a cost involved to those types of decisions. If a plan is going to do auto-enrollment or change a stated match, become safe harbor, those types of decisions.
And getting advice on that. And the big thing is that settler functions cannot be paid out of plan assets, which is what the DOL is looking at. Okay, so let's do 2 more. What else?
Quickly, 2 more. As much as I don't like to have to talk about fees, it is certainly something that's top of mind to plan sponsors. So just having a good understanding of how plan fees work. A couple of the things that we addressed in this session were not only around benchmarking and using appropriate benchmarks to identify fees, but also looking at fees not solely in a vacuum. Fees commensurate with services. Additionally, things like fee levelizing and revenue sharing, and often the disparity that occurs in a plan if the services are being paid for by revenue sharing to the record keeper. You often see one participant subsidizing another.
Sure. Because they're paying a higher, they don't even know it.
They don't even know. They're paying a higher revenue sharing, and another participant who's in an index isn't paying any at all. So we discussed that. We also discussed the per head versus basis point. and really evaluating that. If plan assets have grown significantly, yet the basis point for the record keeper has stayed the same.
Like a flashing.
Yeah, it's the participant is essentially paying more on a per head basis when that's really a more relevant approach to fee assessment. And then lastly, around share class inefficiency, which is just it's unfortunate industry phenomenon that we must live with, which is that just because one share class on a net expense ratio is less than another, it doesn't mean that after revenue sharing credits are taken into account, that remains true.
Well, I'm dedicated to getting rid of that. So.
I would love to see that be gone
and go to like a
purely
CIT, purely institutional.
Purely institutional.
Yes.
But the CIT is also not necessarily always the cheapest relative to a share class that that has revenue sharing. So
it does. Right. So is there one more?
Oh, one more. The last thing is, every company or organization measures results. They want to know the ROI on their the decisions that they make, and looking at the 401k plan the same way is sometimes not addressed by plan fiduciaries. In other words, is the plan actually fulfilling the goals and objectives that the plan fiduciaries have set forth? Is it performing? Are your participants in better shape today for retirement than they were 3, 5, 10 years ago? Are you making progress toward that goal? And if not, what needs to occur for that to happen?
And sometimes because they're not writing a check, they don't pay attention to it, but it's still really critically important.
It is.
So final question, this was your first TPSU. What did you think and why did you do it?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. We had a full house here at Wake Forest, which happens to be my alma mater, so that was also nice. And it was, I enjoy helping people. I enjoy seeing a light bulb go off when you say something and you can see the wheels turning in someone's mind about how whatever it was might be applicable to them and their population and their participants. So I really enjoyed it. It was a great group, very engaged. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. And
thank you.
We will see you in 6 months.
That's right.
And we'll do it again. And this time maybe my flight won't get canceled and I won't have to take the train.
But you made the extra effort and I appreciate that.
I said, if I had to crawl, I'm coming here because I think you would be mortified if I wasn't here this morning, right? So
I may have been.
But I'm glad I could make it.
Yes, me too.
And thank you for your participation and your service. And thank you for watching 401k TV. Stay tuned.